Hello everyone and welcome back to the FRC Historian. Now today I'm going to start a whole new series that I'm calling the most underrated teams in FRC. Now quite a while back, I made a Google forum and a survey about who you, the viewer, thought was the most underrated team in FRC. Now I got a whole lot of responses back then, and I'm going to be making the series off of those responses. I will be linking that survey here, as I do want to hear some more responses, as I do know that everyone listening to it now, not everyone was there when I first uploaded it, and I would like to hear some more even if you've responded previously. Now, what I will be doing for each of these teams, I'm starting today with a special one. I'll be going through their entire history, starting from the beginning all the way to 2019 or their most present year, and I will be going over every competition they went to, where I'll be highlighting their rank, their record, even performance, if applicable, and any awards that they won, and then stopping off either by looking at their record or looking at their ranking in the district system and record, and then moving on to the next year. Now, if you're wondering why I'm doing all of this, going over their entire history, here's why. Here's a little personal note. In 2017, one team that I really noticed at the First Michigan District Championship that I attended was Team 2767, that being Strike Force. Now, as you know, they did incredibly well there, and then went on to win the 2017 and 18 World Championships, St. Louis and Detroit respectively, and then going on to become a division finalist in 2019. Now this team did incredibly well in 2017 and then 18 and 19 of course, but in 2017 I didn't know who they were. I knew they were the rank 1 team in 2016, and then also in the Carver division in 2016. However, I did not know their history, so I got interested and I looked at their entire history and then looked through there and saw that they're a team who did well over the years, however really started to do well in 2017 and then onward. So one thing that I love to do is look through a team's history in FRC. So whenever I see a new team that I haven't heard of before, I'll look through their entire history, all their accomplishments, see how long they've been around and see what they've accomplished, as that really interests me. That's why today I'll be going over this entire history of this team, and overall, for the next few videos, I will be going over the entire history, as I feel it's important to see a team's entire history, rather than the past few years, or the years where they did exceptionally well. So now, to start off, the first team I'm going to be doing is the one from the list that resonated with me the most, that being Team 3707, the Brighton Techno Dogs. Now, if you want to know why this one resonated with me the most, it's because this was the last response that I got as of this video, and that was the week before the Detroit Championship. Now, if you do not know who they are, they did win the 2019 Detroit World Championship the week after this response, and then after seeing that, I really thought this would be a nice one to go over, as they weren't the most well-known team in the world before that. Of course, after winning their division with the Cyber Knights in 2018, they were very well-known, but they weren't the most well-known team in FRC up until the World Championship win, and after they've won it, I'd love to go through their entire history, starting in 2011 in First Logo Motion, where they started the first ever competition at the Waterford First Robotics District Competition. Now, in this Week 2 event in 2011, they actually had a very good start off, going 9-2-1 in the qualification matches, becoming ranked fourth and the fourth alliance captain, here picking teams 3542 and 3401 into the elimination matches. Now, this is a very important thing, as in their first ever competition, not only were they in an alliance, but they're also an alliance captain, and although they were knocked out here, they did accomplish those two very important things that not every rookie team gets to do. And they also were awarded the highest rookie seed for that rank 4th performance. Now, in their second competition was the Ann Arbor First Robotics District Competition, where here they would become ranked 27th with a record of 5-7, and where they would win the very coveted Rookie Inspiration Award. Now, for their first year, they did quite well. I mean, they were able to captain and be an alliance their first year, which not every team they can say that they did. Overall, in the state of Michigan, they ranked 69th, and although now that would take you to the state championship, there weren't as many teams back then, so at that point they ranked 69th, and that was the end of their season in Ann Arbor. They did end up with a positive record of 14-11-1. Now, for 2012, their next year, their sophomore year. Now, in 2012, in Rebound Rumble, this team went to Northville for the first ever competition, going 7-5, ranking 34th, having a positive record, yet not being picked by an alliance. Then after this, they would go on to the Livonia First Robotics District Competition, where they go 7-5 as well, ranking 22nd in this competition, however not being selected for an alliance. This team did end up with a positive record of 14-10, wasn't as exciting as the previous year. They did rank 129th in the state of Michigan, earning 33 what we call Michigan district points, for all of you not in the district system, you earn different points for awards and performance and qualifications, and those points ample up to your ranking, which decide whether you go on to the district championship and then on to the world championship, either world championship. Now let's move on to their 2013 performance. Now in 2013, they went to the Kettering University First Robotics District, where here they would actually rank 7th, going 10-5-1 overall. Here, if you want to know how they did in qualifications, they went 8-3-1. They ranked 7th, and this time they were picked by the 5th Alliance, that consisting of teams 3-14, 15-02, and themselves, actually upsetting the 4th Alliance in both quarterfinals matches, then going on to the semifinals where they would lose both to 8-6-2, 9-10, and 7-8. However, here, they did make it all the way to the semifinals for the first time, and they were part of the Alliance, which was good for them. Now, and they were a high part of the Alliance as well. Although being the 5th ranked Alliance, they were able to upset, which is a very recognizable thing for a team to do. Next up, they finished their season in Bedford, in the Bedford District, where they were ranked 32, going 4-8. This year doing well, as they were able to not only be an Alliance, but also upset the Alliance above them in the quarterfinals and make it all the way to the semis. This year, they would rank 98th. Better than the second year, however, not as good as the first, earning 47 district points. Now we're going to move on to their 2014 season. Now in their 2014 season, they went to the Howell District first, this being a Week 3 event. Now, at this district, they would rank 27th, going 5-7, not being selected by any alliances in elims. Next to the Waterford District, they get the same record of 5-8-1, ranking 20th, and actually being selected by the 8th Alliance of teams 52-16, 46-80, and themselves, losing out in both quarterfinals matches against the Alliance of 469, 49-98, and 21-37. However, putting up a very respectable 122 in their first quarterfinals match. They would rank 203rd as the state of Michigan, earning 29 first in Michigan district points with an overall record of 10-15-1. Now we're going to move on to 2015, where a first was made for this team, where they would win a district, that being the first district, the Waterford District. Now in Waterford, they would rank 26th with an average qualification score of 550.83, where they would be selected by the Alliance of 21-37 and 67. Remember 67, they do come back later. Here they had a very high quarterfinal average with scores of 167 and 161 in the quarterfinals. Then in the semis, where they were able to put up very respectable 130, 129, and then a lower 48, where they would end up ranking second by average score in the finals, going up against the team with a higher average of 217, 1025, and 5046. However, in blue, they were able to win both finals match, granting 37-07, their first ever district win. Now we're going to move on to the second district, the Lansing event, where they were ranked 29th with an average qualification match score of 47.42, where here they would team up with teams 308 and 5084, where they would not qualify for semifinals. However, they were selected by an alliance, and overall in the state of Michigan, they were able to have an average qualification score of 49.12. Now this year there wasn't an actual indication of you won this many matches and you lost this many. It was more of an averaging system. However, if you look at the matches you can actually win, those being the finals, they went 2-0 with an average playoff score of 118.67. Now, as part of the district, they ranked 120th with 62.0 points. Now we're going to move on to 2016, which was also a good year for them. Now in 2016, they would win another district as well, where they went on to the Kettering University Week 2 event, where they would be ranked 14th with an overall match record of 13-6, where they would be part of the 6th Alliance, along with teams 59-26 and 52-03. Now here, they'll go on to actually upset the 3rd Alliance, going 2-0 against the Alliance of 43-62, 16-84, and 60-73. Then they would go on to the semifinals, where they win both matches again against 55-34, 49-61, and the eventual state champion 60-86 Ignition. Now in the finals, they would win the first match, lose the second match, and win the tiebreaker to go on to become the Kettering Week 2 district champion against teams 35-34, 494, and 60-85. Here, not only would they win the event, but they would also receive the Industrial Safety Award by Underwriters Laboratories. Now they go into the Howell event, this one where they would rank 13th, going 8-7 overall, where they would be selected by the 7th Alliance along with teams 55-17 and 830, winning their first match against the 2nd Alliance of 494, remember them, 68 and 55-67. However, they would lose the second and tiebreaker, however only losing by 3 points in the second match in the second quarterfinal. However, overall this year doing very well, being selected in both of their events and winning another district, this time upsetting every single alliance they went up to. They would rank 81st in the state of Michigan, granting 113 points, and they would qualify for the Michigan State Championship, where they went 4-8, and although not being selected by one of the Michigan State Championship alliances, they would make it to the state championship, which is a very impressive feat for a Michigan team. Now we're going to move on to 2017. This year, where they would go on to go to the Southfield District first, where they would rank 16th, going 6-5-1 in the qualification matches, being selected by the 8th Alliance with 94 and 60-81, where they would go on to score an impressive match score of 265 and 210 against the 4th Alliance, who would ultimately beat them in the end, consisting of 573, 33, and 29-60. Now going on to the Howell event, where they would go 5-6-1 in the qualification matches, where they would be selected by the 7th Alliance along with teams 1, the Juggernauts, 36-41, the Flying Toasters, and themselves, who would be beat by the 2nd Alliance 55-30, 43-62, and 27, putting up some very respectable scores of 255 and 285 respectively by the 7th Alliance. Now this year they would rank 271st, earning 41st in Michigan district points, going 11, 15, and 2. Now 2018 is when I really first discovered this team. That being, they did incredibly well in the state of Michigan, ranking 3rd in the state, where they would first go to the 1st in Michigan Kettering District Week 2, the one that worked out very well for them in 2016, where they would rank 5th and be selected by the 2nd Alliance by team 217 and 61-93. Now here, they would win both quarterfinal matches, both semifinal matches, lose the first final, win the second, but then lose out in the tiebreaker against 494, 4003, and 7144 to become the district finalist, and they would also win the Entrepreneurship Award. Now then they'd move on to the Milford event, where here they would go 16-3 overall, becoming ranked 3rd, and then picking 35-36, the Electro Eagles, and then 71-78, more Monsters, where here they would win both quarterfinal matches, lose the first semi and then win the next 2, and then win both final matches against teams 33, 67, and 1701, winning this district, as well as winning the Innovation Control Award. Now, with this, they were easily able to make their way to the First in Michigan State Championship, where they were placed into the DTE Energy Foundation Division, where here they became the 2nd ranked team in this division, where after doing incredibly well in the qualification matches, selected team 67 Hot and 43-92, where they won both quarterfinals matches, lost the first semis, but won the next 2, and then in blue lost the first finals match to 23-37, the first ranked team, 43-62 and 61-21. Then they'd go on to win the next 2 finals matches, winning their division, and then also winning the Excellence in Engineering Award on behalf of their robot. So they're also doing well as winning awards, which is phenomenal. Next up, they went into the Michigan State Championship interdivisional playoffs. Think of it like a state championship Einstein in a way. If you're not accustomed to interdivisional playoffs in a district system, where here they'll go 3-3, where they lost the first semifinals match, winning the next 2, making it to the finals, where they would win the first final, and then lose the second one, and then lose the tiebreaker, becoming the First in Michigan state finalist, which is a very respectable position in the state of Michigan, where they'd also be ranked 3rd in the state. Now here, they went into the Curie division, where at the World Championship, where they became the first ranked team, doing incredibly well, going 10-0 in their qualification matches, going undefeated, and then picking teams 195, 333, and then team 70, who's actually more Martians, which is the second team of 494. Here they'll go on to win both quarterfinals matches, both semifinals matches, lose the first finals, but as before, win the next 2 finals, making their way to Einstein Field, where they would go 3-2. Their first match losing to the eventual world champions, winning the second match against the eventual world finalists, winning the third, winning the fourth, and then losing out in the fifth, going 3-2, a very respectable Einstein showing for any team, especially for a team on their first ever Einstein run. This was also the first ever year that they went to an off-season competition, that being IRI. If you want to know how they did, they were part of the third alliance, along with teams 217 and 4028. They would play 3 matches with, where they would go on to win the first, lose the next 2, and do well at IRI of all places, which is a very different competition, an off-season competition. Now, let's go on to 2019, where here they would start their first competition here at the Milford event. Now, a special thing about the Milford event, much in part due to 3707, this really changed my view of how this could be, of how this game could be, because, well, when I was looking at the Milford event, when I watched the first finals match of this event, it was a very fast-paced match, very effective defense, and I found it very interesting to watch, just as a complete understatement. So they were able to go incredibly fast. They would win both quarterfinal matches, win both semifinals matches. They were ranked fourth. However, they were picked by the ranked first team, 67, and along with 55-62, they would go on. They actually lost the first finals and then won the next 2, winning this district, and then also winning the Excellence in Engineering Award sponsored by Delphi, going 16-2-1, winning their first district of 2019. Then they go on to Lansing, where they'd actually go 17-1 overall, going 11-1 in the qualification matches, where here, as rank 1, they would pick 47-76 Scott Spots and 60-85, as they go 6-0 in the playoffs, winning their district, as well as the Excellence in Engineering Award once again. Now they would go on to the state championship once again doing incredibly well. They were easily able to qualify for the Michigan State Championship, where they were placed in the 4 division. Now here they ranked 4th, and they were picked by the first ranked team, 1918, the NC Gears, and along with teams 56-75. They would win both quarterfinals. They would lose the first semis, win the second, however lose out by a very small 2 points in the tiebreaker against the alliance of 35-42, 36-41, and 35-36. However, they would win the Gracious Professionalism Award in their division of the state championship. Now, as ranked 11 in the state, they would move on to the Darwin division, where they would be ranked 2nd. Now here, they overall went 16-2. However, they actually went 10-0 here because the 2 matches that they lost overall were in the eliminations. Now here, they, as the second alliance captain, they would pick teams 217, 44-81, and 12-18. If you remember that alliance, they're the ones who won the world championship. Spoiler alert. Where they would go on to win the first quarterfinal, lose the second, however, win the tiebreaker by a very large margin. Then they go on to win both semis, and then on to the finals, where in the finals, they would lose the first, then win the next 2, where they would go on to win this division against team 1690, 23-37, and 35-42, who played the 3 matches against them in the finals. Now, then they'd go on to the Einstein Field of Detroit once again, where they actually went 3-1-1, which is a very peculiar thing if you'd seen the Einstein previously, as they would, in their 4th match of the round robin, participate in the second ever tie on the round robin Einstein Field. Now, they would go on to win their first one, lose their second one against the team who they'd end up beating in the finals. Then they would win their 3rd match, tie their 4th against the Tesla division, and then win their 5th, going into the finals, losing the first, and like so many times before, really putting it in gear, winning the second, and then winning the tiebreaker, actually by 1 point, making it one of the closest final tiebreakers and Einstein Field performances in FRC history. If I were to say the closest, it would be 2016, with the Beachbots Alliance winning by 0 points with the penalty. However, this was an incredibly close with 1 point, actually 217 falling over, making it seem like all hope was lost, but they won by 1 point in the final, becoming immortalized in FRC history as the 2019 Detroit FRC World Champions. Now, I just want to go over their history. If you're interested in their off-season performance, they did win one of their events. However, we wanted to look at more of official play here. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know of any other underrated teams you'd like me to cover. I will start coming out with more of these with the other teams. So, and if there's anything else you want me to do, this channel, what I really want to do is, if you have any ideas, I'd love to cover them, as I both enjoy making these videos as well as researching what you want me to.